But in my experience with spiritual leaders who are men, a lot of them are timid. When anxious situations occur, they just kind of hold back. They really want to make everybody happy. And I read a line the other day by Mark Sayers that said, man, leadership, it used to be building consensus. Now we kind of define leadership as avoiding conflict, but that's not leadership. Leadership is facing the conflict. And so anxiety presents itself within the nervous system. And all of a sudden you just get really timid. You shut down. You just let somebody else take over. Edward Freeman was a big inspiration for me in writing this book. And he talks about today's society, the way we define leaders is just we don't lead by conviction anymore. He actually says typically anxious leaders, they just allow the most dysfunctional member in the room to dictate where you're going. And totally, I mean, that can be in a family, right? A son or a daughter that is the most rambunctious, most disobedient. You eventually just punt and say, okay, whatever, make this kid happy, let's do it. But that's not what's going to make that person good, or it'll destroy your whole family, right? So don't be timid, stand up for the truth, and it may hurt for a while. The other one is livid. And I see this in my parenting, right? You just blow up. You just get so angry that it doesn't accomplish anything. James talks about being slow to anger. And so that's a sign, okay, something is very unhealthy within me where I am not going through the proper channels of leadership. I'm just kind of whining like a baby, and getting angry and yelling and thinking if I just raise my voice, I'll get my way. That's not leadership. The other way is rigid, where you will just never budge, right? It's kind of like that picture of that old school church. This worked before. We're going to keep trying this over and over and over and over again. It's like, hey, it's a new time. Maybe you should try this, that, the other. And I think that's helpful. Again, if we're talking about men and we're talking about, specifically within the household, there are leadership principles that work well in seasons. The way I led my kids when they were 4 and under is different than how I lead them now between ages 4 and 8. Yeah. Right. And so I think our anxiety, we just like, okay, that one season was so hard to figure out. I'm just going to keep doing that. But no, we need to have the peace to say, okay, now it's something new. Let me explore into something else. And that can be really, really scary. And I think it's helpful for us to admit that and to get mentors and to go through the proper pathway towards leading and being humble about it, but also saying, no, this is what we need to do. This is where we need to go.